Hi guys, DK here from KaroroCAM. Today I'm going to be taking you through part 5 of this multi-part series on using KaroroCAM to do what will be this real-world project of machining a kite surfboard on a flatbed CNC router. So in the last video we machined the fin locations into our foam block that is positioned on this indexing on the bed of the machine. And today we're going to do the base machining, a 3D roughing toolpath followed by a 3D finishing toolpath. So without further ado, we will turn off our indexing, and I'm going to go to shaded mode. And the item that we have here is I have created from the 3D model I've positioned the 3D model of the board inside a block of foam. I've then gone around and found and in that positioning, if we go to ghosted view, I have positioned the nose of the board up near the very top of the block, and I've positioned the tail of the board relatively flat, which is part of allowing us to be able to machine those fin boxes in. It's just about putting the tail of the board like relatively parallel with the bottom surface of this block. So, but to actually do the machining, what I like to do is actually create what we're looking at here, where I've actually done some parallel run out off the wide point of the board, or the silhouette, all the way around, and I've actually created a surface there that's 4mm thick, and that 4mm will hold this board in this block while we finish the machining on the second side. And after it's finished machining, we'll simply have to come around here with a handsaw, remove that last 4mm to relieve the blank out of the block, and then there'll be some sanding and finishing just to finish that last 4mm of foam off. So from here, what I need to do is actually create the area that we want to machine. So I'm going to copy and paste this this particular model, and I'm going to put that to the default layer and turn off our reference. I'm going to go to shaded view, and I'm going to explode this whole model, and I'm just going to delete that top surface. I'll grab everything again, join it back together, and then I'm going to delete off all of that bottom information. Now in this model I've actually left the sides of coming up, and that helps KaroroCAM reference the amount of material that we want to remove, or the area of material that we'd like to remove in this roughing process. So now that we're there, I'm going to launch KaroroCAM. And this will just take a minute. So, with KaroroCAM launch, the first thing I'm going to do is go to my machine setup, and we know from the previous operation that we have a stock thickness of 96mm, and our Z position is at the stock top. I'm going to be machining at 5000mm per minute, and our indexing is this 1200 by 2400, so that matches up with the machine size. We can also check here, if we turn on our indexing and we go to the front, we can see that our indexing is, well, the top of this indexing is at 0. So all of our machining is going to be below the Z0, which is what we're looking for. Now I'm going to go to Toolpath, and I'm going to go to 3D roughing. Tolerance of 0.1 is fine, sharp outside corners is fine. I am going to be using a flat end mill of 12.7 millimeters for this operation. I'm going to step over 10 millimeters because this is a relatively soft material. I want the tool inside of the boundary, which is why I've left this rim all the way around. I want to leave 5 millimeters of stock for my final operation, and I'm going to step down 10 millimeters. And I don't need to use ramping for this particular operation. This material is plenty soft enough. So I'm just going to move that to the 3D roughing and finishing, and let that calculate up. And here we go. This is the material that will be removed, or the toolpath that will remove the excess material, ready for us to do our finishing toolpath. So yeah, that is looking fantastic. The rest of this is shallow enough that we can just machine that directly. So I will go to preview, and that is machining from the inside out. That's looking great. So I'll go to Toolpath, I'll go down to Post-Process, I'm going to go Rich Auto, and I'm going to save the GCode file. And I want to save that to my desktop. Alright, now what I'm going to do is take this model and bring it back to the default layer. And for the 3D finishing operation, we don't actually need this rim around the outside, and it'll actually cause us more problems than it's worth. So I'm just going to explode this and remove that surface, because we just want this machining surface. We don't actually need that vertical surface for working out our machining volume. So I will now join that back together, and I'm going to change from 3D roughing to 3D parallel finishing. A tolerance of 0.1 is fine. A pass angle of 0 degrees is correct. I actually want to go back and forth across this board, as I want to do a majority of my finish sanding lengthwise. So I want to be going across those ridges. It will be a ball end mill. It will be 10 millimeters. I don't need to worry about the tool number or spindle speed. The step over I'm going for is 3 millimeters. Tool inside this outside edge. We will use path linking, and there is no stock to leave. So with all that set up, I'm just going to shift this into my roughing and finishing, and this could take anything up to a couple of minutes to calculate. So I think I'll put you on pause and wait for it to come back in. Alright guys, that just took a couple of minutes, and here we have it. We have a 3D finishing toolpath, which if we zoom in here, you can see follows the contours of the board, and where it needs to, it steps over the geometry. So we can, from here, go and see a preview. Let's watch this for a little bit. There we go. And this will take 48 minutes to complete all of this machining, which is absolutely fantastic, on top of about the 26 minutes to do the roughing. So we're in that sort of hour 20 to machine one side of this board. Alright, I'm going to go back to Toolpath, and we'll go down to Post-Process. We're at Rich Auto, and we'll save this as our Parallel Finishing. Right, now I'm just going to delete this file, and I'm going to go Save As. I'm going to change to Deck Machining. So I'm going to return to Toolpath here, move this off to the side, and I'm going to duplicate this layer. Go Deck Machining, and we can turn this on. And we're going to shift this to the deck, copy this to the Deck Machining, and we can rotate this 180 degrees. So there we have it. This is the other side of the block, and this would be exactly what we would do. We would, after we've machined the base side, we would take this foam block, flip it over, and reposition it on our indexing. And now we need to do the same toolpaths again. So I'll go back to Shaded, save where we're at, turn off my indexing. I'm going to copy this to my default layer. I'm going to explode, delete that top surface, join all the other surfaces together, and I'm going to change to my 3D roughing, which is going to have all of the same settings as we had previously. And I'm going to grab this object, shift it to my roughing and finishing, and let that calculate. And this will remove quite a bit more material because of the way the board was positioned in the blank. We have a look here. Yeah, 51 minutes of roughing to get rid of all of this excess material in this particular one. But that is fine. Again, we can check our preview. Just make sure we're happy with where everything's starting. That's looking excellent. I'll go back to Toolpath, go down to Post-Process, and I'll save this G-code, which will now be Deck Machining Roughing. Back to Toolpath, I'll grab this model, shift it back to my default layer, explode it, delete that rim which was needed for the roughing pass, connect all these back together, and we'll change to our Parallel Finishing, and I'll shift this back to the roughing and finishing, and I'll put you on pause while that calculates. And there we go, guys, we have calculated that toolpath completely. So that is the finishing pass on the deck of this board. And if we have a look, yep, again about 49 minutes to cover the whole surface. We can again check our simulation just to make sure everything's looking okay. Yep, and away it goes. So back to the toolpath, down to post-process, rich auto, and we can save that, and it'll be, we'll have, from this we'll have four different toolpaths, a roughing and a finishing paths for both the base and the deck of the board. Well, there we go, guys. That is a rundown of the machining, the 3D machining of both roughing and finishing passes for this Kite Surfboard project. The next part of this project is getting the materials together and getting to our friend's factory, who has a large flatbed CNC router, and then we can start making chips and making the tooling and these boards. So as always, if you have any questions about using KaroroCAM, and either for this or your own projects, please feel free to drop a comment in the comments box below, or you can feel free to email us at KaroroCAM@gmail.com. Thanks very much.